And I think you would blow your staff's minds, and it would be really good for you as a reality check. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is one for the principals out there, you secondary folks. I was inspired to make this one. I'm going to call it an open letter to my principal because Jet from Jet Chronicles has been with me a long time here on the YouTube channel. Thanks, Jet, for hanging out with me. And Jet is I'm guessing high school principal, secondary principal for sure. And Jet is wondering in the comments section about how to become a supportive and positive resource for the staff. And first, I just have to say, Jet, the fact that you're even here watching teacher YouTube videos is a sign that you are doing the work. You're doing the good stuff. So thank you for joining me. So I spent some time jotting down my thoughts. I've had 8 principals over 20 years in the classroom, and so I've had a wide variety of experiences, and I do have a few things to say to my principal friends out there. First of all, please know all of what I'm going to talk about today comes from a loving place. I have so much sympathy. I can't say empathy because I haven't walked in your shoes, but I have sympathy for what I've seen principals have to do. Your office is a revolving door, and I'm guessing 75% of what you deal with in a day is like total nonsense that you wish you didn't have to deal with. So I don't want that job. My husband for a while was like, Laura, you should get your, administrative credentials. And I'm like, no. I would not want your job for all the money in the world. That's one of those life is too short kind of things. So the fact that you are taking on that leadership role for your campus is really, really noteworthy. And I get it, and I admire and appreciate the work you do. Okay. So that being said, the work isn't always done the way that would actually serve your teachers the best. And so please know this comes from a loving place, but I'm going to go there. And if you are one of my 8 former principals, you might see yourself in here. I'm not naming names, but you might see yourself, and it's okay. We're cool. I still love you. It's all good. I know you were doing the best you could in a tough situation, but you could have done better sometimes. So let's talk about that. All right, I've broken this down into 6 do's and 6 don'ts for my principal friends. Okay, first, learn our names. It's so basic, but it's so important, and yet they get messed up so many times, it makes you wonder if your principal really is interested in knowing you at all. So years ago, a principal in a staff meeting called me Linda, which is nice, but my name's Laura, and he should have known that at that point in the year. I mean, here it is like 15 years later, and I'm still thinking about it on this topic. I don't think about it much beyond this, but in this moment, the teacher across the hall from me, a fantastic educator named Francisco, he was called Fernando. Like, it's like insulting to not be known by your leader, and it just is a source of disconnect. So just as teachers know that we need to learn our kids' names and pronounce them properly and get to know our students to serve them, to help them want to learn with us, you too, principals, you need to know your staff members' names. Yes, all 100 of them, 150 of them. I don't know how many people you have. You have to know them all and a little bit about what makes them tick, because you want the whole team feeling unified. And also, you only have to learn 100 names. Teachers have to learn 175, 200 names, huh? And our names don't change every year. Every semester, I'm learning another 200 names. Oh my God. Along with that, do know the kids. Now, I don't think it's reasonable that you're going to know the names of 2,500 students on your campus, but you can know a lot more than you do. Walk around at lunch, talk to kids, get to know them. I know you know this, but it really does go a long way towards making the kids feel connected to their campus and want to perform well. And as the staff members, when we're walking across the quad and we see you engaging with students, it's like, yeah, that guy gets it. That gal, she's plugged in. And it just goes a long way towards building confidence and creating the sense of community, which is one of the hugest assets that our campuses have, is having a family and a place to belong. Do visit our classrooms regularly, not just for evaluations, but just like slide in. I know not all teachers agree with this because it makes them nervous, but if you've gone a long way towards building connection, and I know you know me and you care about my kid, and you've asked those sorts of things, and I feel safe with you, oh my gosh, I love having you come in. I want more feedback. I want to show off a little bit the cool stuff my kids are doing. So do come in, and again, not just to check a box. I know you have a huge staff and you have a lot of things you have to do for the school board, but I don't know, just come say hi once in a while. Even better than that, do offer to guest teach a class in your subject area once a month. Has never ever happened. Would blow my mind if it did. If I had a principal who was like, you know what, Laura, I'm a former English teacher. Would you like me to take this, I don't know, whatever section you've got on how to write an email? Or how to break down a poem. I'd be like, I would love to see you do that. So it's great for us to be building, but it's also really good for you to remember how it is. One of my fears now that I'm just building curriculum and I'm not in the classroom is that I'm very quickly going to become obsolete and disconnected from the reality. One way to do that is to stay in the mix. So principals, get out of your office, make an offer. What's your thing, your sweet spot that you know how to teach? Go teach it. You could teach that same class all year long and probably still not hit every class. You know what I mean? Just think about the master schedule. Where would it easily fit in? And I think you would blow your staff's minds, and it would be really good for you as a reality check. Do give your staff the gift of time. The best, well, one of the best professional developments that I ever received was the second teacher, PD session before school started. The principal was like, no speakers, no workshops, no, build a bridge out of toothpicks or whatever, or walk through fire, whatever they were having us do. You don't have to do any of that. Go to your room, work. Yes. Yeah. And my final do shelter us from the garbage. I know there's a lot going on in your office, and if it directly relates to me and my students in my classroom, and I need to know about it, tell me. But if it doesn't, and it's just drama, tempest in a teapot kind of stuff, shelter me from that. I don't need to know about that. You kind of play the guy with the dodgeball who's deflecting the dodgeballs so that I can load up behind you and wind up and just that's the weirdest analogy ever. Okay, now on to the don'ts. All right, so first up, don't ask a teacher to do anything you aren't willing to do yourself, right? It's a classic lead by example. I will respect you so much more if you're doing the difficult things that you're also asking me to do. I will not take any validity in what you're saying if you're asking me to do something that you don't actually do. Case in point, 48-hour email return. So several schools I've been at have asked staff, required teachers, to respond to all parent and student emails within 48 hours. Cool, I get it, I'm in, let's go. But then when I email you and you never reply, nope. Don't put your staff in a crunchy position. If you know something is the right decision to make the decision. I had a situation where it was a difficult one, and it's a story for another day, but basically in a meeting with a student who needed to be expelled from the school, the principal put me in the position of deciding whether the student should be expelled from the school or not. And I'm like, that's not my job as the teacher of the classroom where this thing happened. That's your job. So don't put that on the teacher. Be the leader. You take the heat for that decision. You just stand in that decision and do what's right for the safety and protection of your school and staff. You don't set the teacher up to look like the bad guy. Please don't use an all-staff forum to try to correct the actions of a few. Many times, many emails and many meetings, I've been sitting there and I receive a message that some rule's not being followed on campus, right? For example, teachers need to be in their classrooms 10 minutes before school starts. Okay, cool. Well, you know which teachers you're talking to, and it's not me. I'm there a half hour before school starts. So go talk to those individuals. I'll never forget, I was in an English department meeting, and we were being scolded, it felt like, because some teachers in our department were not doing 4 process pieces, 4 big essays a year. And so the whole department was being scolded for this. And inside my heart, I'm like, whoa, I'm doing 7 a year. But now I have to sit here and be scolded because somebody else isn't pulling their weight. You know who's not pulling their weight. Go be a leader. go talk to that person, go get your action plan, you know. But what happens is, because that's a hard conversation to have, my principal friends, because it's like, oh, it's like one more thing. It takes time, right? You've got to dig into where the problem is and then fix the problem. And I know there's a tons of limitations and your hands are tied in some ways, but you got to do it. Like anything great is going to be difficult, because if you don't do it that way by correcting the individual, you end up just alienating everybody. And it doesn't fix the original problem, because the person who's the problem isn't hearing it, or just lets it slide by, or like hides behind everybody else. So go have the hard conversation and fix the thing that needs to get fixed, and don't alienate everybody else. This next one should be kind of obvious, and yet it's not. You cannot play, or don't play, favorites, or make it even appear that you're playing favorites. You're the principal now, you're the leader. You need to treat us all evenly and give us even access to you. So I've had principals where they were better friends with some teachers on staff than others, and it just creates this toxic tension in the staff. I know you love golf. That's awesome. Go play golf with some other principals, and you guys can be like your little cluster there. Don't play golf with 3 other teachers from staff, because now everybody's like, oh, well, they're on the inner circle. Whether they are or not, that's the appearance, and appearance or perception is reality. Don't have a barbecue at your house where you only invite, say, 15 people from staff, which has happened at a school I was at, because then it gets put up on Facebook and everybody else is like, oh, wow, so-and-so was at the, drinking at the fire pit with the principal. I didn't get an invitation. So there becomes this like inner circle of the people who feel like they've got more sway over you, and then the outer people who just feel left out, and resentments brew. Whether it's true or not, no matter of your intentions, and again, principals, I know you're human. You just want to go play golf. You just want to have, a nice meal with some friends. You're the principal now. So either open it to all department chairs if you need 15 people to come, or open it to the entire staff. People can then self-select, right? But it really, it matters that there seems like we are all in this together, and you love all your kids the same, right? You can't have favorites. I can't have them with my students, even though I do. They don't know that, they don't feel that, and you have to do the same for us. And don't spend thousands of dollars on professional development that is here today and gone tomorrow. The best professional development I ever had was my first year on a new campus. I was not a brand new teacher, but the principal knew I was new and kind of learning the ways of the school, gave me the gift of 1 day of release time. And in that day, he said, go see any other teacher's classes that you want. You're going to be a student today, Laura, and I want you to, just like a student, every hour, go class to class to class and have an experience. And so that's exactly what I did. It was remarkable. First, I gained tons of empathy for what students go through as they are navigating, 6 or 7 very strong teacher personalities in their day. I was never as tired, oh my gosh, as I was that day. But I also got great ideas about what to do and what not to do in my own classroom. So that's the kind of meaningful professional development that you can do very cheaply for your staff. Maybe you only do it for, years 1 through 3, the brand new teachers. Or maybe you give a little lifeblood to the veterans, just switch it up. If you have to do, like district mandates that you have to have a professional development day, the state's not going to pay us if we don't do the thing, investigate the EdCamp model. It is fantastic. Teachers decide, what is it that they want to learn? What problems do they want to solve? And then we work together to solve them. There's tons of videos on EdCamp. You can just Google it. It's a whole movement. It also is a really rich way to spend the time to actually make meaningful professional development, instead of just sitting and listening to somebody read another PowerPoint to us and tell us how we're not doing our jobs well. All right, so that's it. That's my 6 do's and my 6 don'ts. I know I have missed a ton of stuff. I also know, principals, that I have not walked in your shoes. And so I cannot know the weight, the burden that goes along with this job. It does not look easy to me, and I appreciate that. So, principals, if you're out there, if you're listening, first of all, if you watch this whole video, you're amazing. You're already on your way to being one of the great ones, because you actually care and you're thoughtful and you're spending your time to do this. And I love that. If there's something you wish that teachers knew about the principal job, leave it in the comments. I'm trying to build this channel to be a robust place where people can safely exchange ideas. Unfortunately, education is built in such a way that teachers don't always feel like they can say very candidly to you what needs to be said to you, and you probably cannot candidly say to teachers what you want to say to them. I'm sure of that. So if you want to leave it down below, that's fine. I don't know who Jet is, who started this, but I really love that Jet got us thinking about this conversation. So there's that. And teachers, I know you're here for the conversation too. So let's end on an up note. I like to keep things positive. Teachers, what is the best thing a principal ever did or said to you to make you want to dig in more to improving your classroom, your school community? Let's celebrate the good stuff that our principals do. They are often the unsung heroes, and it's those small things that make a huge difference in getting us through the day. Okay, that's it for this time. As always, you guys, thank you for being with me on this journey. I'm still figuring out what this YouTube channel is going to be, but I am really liking the interaction and so appreciative of all the comments. So thank you. Let's make education amazing. Let's do the work to make the good stuff happen. Subscribe to the channel. I got more stuff coming up. Go ahead and click on a video, do the things. You guys be awesome. I'll see you next time.